In Ohio, there were 45,000 people incarcerated, and that doesn't seem like a big number until you realize that Ohio has the 25th highest incarceration rate. And to make that a little bit more personal, 18 in every 360 people will serve time in prison. I'm Maya, and my essential question is the American justice system fair? I chose this topic because incarcerated people are often overlooked. We think about the people who've gotten out of prison, we don't think about the people who are actually facing the time. I knew right away that this is what I wanted to study. And I wanted to help bring awareness to people who don't have a voice. So in all of my studies, I'll bring you guys through the journey that I took to get here today. In Tanakh, I looked at the similarities between the Ten Commandments and the laws today, or Haser HaDibra. The Bible is a guideline for our laws today, which can be helpful and harmful. Okay. Having laws that have biblical origin means it's hard for those laws to apply to today's society. This is unfair because our society does not live like our ancestors did. In language arts, I studied, do those with a criminal record actually get a second chance? Through my studies, I learned that the three biggest components are an inability to clear one's record, society's view on ex-convicts, and the struggles of reintegrating into society. I also learned that in Ohio, 31.5% of people end back up in prison. In science, I looked at what challenges transgender inmates face. Not only do these inmates face gender dysphoria and mental health struggles, but they also face physical discomfort, which leads to them trying to conduct their own surgeries, which then even leads to even bigger problems. In social studies, I learned about the death penalty, which is a major topic of controversy and debate. I studied whether the death penalty is a fair form of punishment. What I took away from my research is that the death penalty disproportionately affects marginalized communities. So the statistics show that these communities include people who are impoverished, people of color, and people with mental illnesses. I also looked at the Eighth Amendment, which is not to inflict cruel, unusual punishment. In 2022 alone, there were 17 executions. Of those 17, 7 went wrong. In Hebrew, I looked at the difference between the American and Israeli justice system. But I mainly looked at the death penalty and life imprisonment. In Israel, they don't even have the death penalty, whereas in America, we use it as a common form of punishment. They also put life imprisonment differently. Life imprisonment in Israel lasts from 20 to 30 years, whereas in America, it actually is a whole life. I also looked at the incarceration rates, which in Israel is 0.2 and America is 0.6. That means we have a 3 times higher, our incarceration rate is 3 times higher than theirs. In art, I chose to emulate Jean-Michel Basquiat. He was a graffiti neo-expressionist who made a major impact on the artist community. He was one of the first artists of color to rise to fame and success. I made a plaster sculpture with an executioner hat to emulate the hell that death row inmates suffer. As Olivia said, her and I conducted a panel with 3 guests. When we proposed this idea to Adam, he goes, "Oh, go ahead, but no one has actually conducted a panel or done one successfully." And I'm proud to say that we did. Olivia told you about the project, but I want to tell you about how it connected to my IPBL. Luis Glover was exonerated after being falsely convicted of murder when he was a teenager on Cleveland's East Side. This connected to my IPBL in many ways. Luis was an example of the justice system failing, as he served 20 years in prison for a crime he didn't even commit. In comparison, this is me going to prison now and not being released till I'm 34. Our project was a huge success. It made an impact not only on students, but teachers and adults as well. My work has inspired me to teach others about what I've learned and to one day make a difference in my community. You may be wondering, why does this matter and what does this have to do with me? And that's what I was pondering in the beginning too. But then I realized that there is limited time to make change. And the government is already making extreme choices for people who can't even vote. So as a future generation, I feel compelled to make a change, even if it's only by educating people. Because incarceration rates are getting higher and the prison system is getting worse. And I can no longer live with an unjust justice system. Thank you.